Outstanding.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Vermont House Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2025 at 3:40 in the afternoon. We're back from the floor and we're here to hopefully finish up our memo to appropriations on our recommendation. I'll let the vice chair take over because you finished this discussion up yesterday. So.
Okay, Anna Grace, if you could share on the screen, thank you. Rick's gonna join us, but until he does, Anna Grace has full editing capacity. And so we have covered, will you just go to the things that, oh yeah, much bigger. Some of us have very old eyes. Thank you.
That's good.
Survive.
You-
I can take classes off.
Can you scroll to the part that we haven't commented?
Can you go to the parts where you did comment on it? I wasn't here.
Oh,
I can go to what we were commenting on yesterday, the notes.
that would be great. I don't remember where you left, so it's part of our meeting.
You didn't write that down.
I didn't write it down. This is where we stop, small business technical exchange.
The common year and then what you exactly where we start.
Or 27, that's about the right time.
Okay.
Actually done. So
Okay, yeah, I think we did it. So. Yep, we went through that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was here for that.
It is.
Okay, good.
and the next. We just want more order. So this is, so we started talking about the first degree promise from the McClure Foundation. And that
You've heard that discussion, I think.
we have concerns about funding it.
Yeah, I think there's. Yeah, and I think those are pieces that we can explain to appropriations when we go and talk about it.
And then we have childcare.
Skip until the chair.
Yep.
What's the one up above? Skip until the chair.
That's, I think that's all
That's all
childcare.
childcare.
Yes, it's from Ali Richard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that the last thing on this day? So downtown tax credits. And the tech hub and the arts council.
Okay.
So then we can probably switch back. Rick, do you want to do your one?
Yeah. If you want.
Right. I'll back if we give you
Yes,
my vote. Okay.
Rick. Typed it, I didn't type that.
I know.
I did nothing in the survey. Did we officially?
We haven't
Okay,
We haven't officially done anything. This is still in our committee, so we haven't commented at all on childcare
Okay.
or on the international business.
Okay.
Trade,
okay,
it's not trade, international business position. I'm forgetting what it's called.
okay.
It's the next side up thing.
Make sure that it wasn't.
No,
Close.
no, and so, yeah, this is to finalize the letter with Rick, and then we can send it
I
to.
think Amy has something to ask us.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Can you imagine how fast that paint dries?
Paint murals.
Sing something.
Stencil.
I requested to join the Zoom.
Isn't that what you do? So you watch paint dry?
Yeah.
Getting bites with you.
Right.
I was gonna say.
And that really works well on 420.
Oh my
I didn't
god.
mention that's my.
So we
phone
legalize
number.
psilocybin.
And sadly, my TIF was like directed to Ways and Means. So it's now dead.
Well, you could ask for it to be moved here for,
How do I do that?
go up and talk to,
Oh,
talk to the chair.
okay. Oh, I can do that.
So these are all things that we've all agreed on, correct?
One thing we need to add there is the 350,000. That's in the budget to expand the, international.
I have that at the end.
International business development.
It should be
You
under
have
what,
it.
where
Oh, yeah,
ACCD.
international.
Oh, so the first part is the governor's recommend that the appropriations committee asked you all to look at. So I have those line by line. This was not in that.
So it's part of the budget though, right?
And it is part of the governor's
It's in-
recommend.
Yeah. Yes, and I can,
That's okay. Let's go to where we stopped or where we need to.
put this here.
Have $1 million. But everybody looks at that as a high priority. I'm still at it as a high priority plus.
I mean, should we like have priority plus high and then every other high medium?
A high with 2 thumbs up.
Go with highest.
Start adding
I think
emojis.
We could probably pick 2 or 3 things that.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna ask us when we go down, what are your,
Where do you believe? Where do you
I'm outside the, so this is outside the budget. This is. So I think we want to make sure when we go down to speak with appropriations, that we're speaking for the committee, that this $1 million for the tech hub is like a high. So in my mind, it is. We all.
Yeah.
Agreement with that? Okay, so we'll just portray that when we go.
Do you want me to go back up? We're kind of I went to the bottom to show you the international trade division language.
Okay,
Go
so
back up to,
I think let's finish it and then we'll walk through the whole
Okay.
thing one more time.
so the last item that you were not here for, Mr. Chair, was this Act 76 chalker funding.
Yep.
The governor's recommended language is to not continue the funding, correct?
Oh, they are.
It's the basis of
it.
Oh, they're withdrawing some.
We're drawing some.
The funds that have already been appropriated for this year. So it's 75,000. There's already funds remaining. They want now to use this 350 to work with Quebec Trade, but also to expand. Where are we?
You were
We're next one.
I thought we were at the international
No,
trade, 'cause we
we're
haven't got.
Yeah, what's the priority for that?
I'm like listening, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm really confused. It's easy to confuse me.
A one-time deal.
It's priority.
Let's do the international trade first and then.
So this is in the governor's recommended budget. And this is also in the Senate committee bill, this language, just so you all know. Similar request.
Oh, I thought the governor's request was 150.
No, the governor's
It's 350.
is 350, was 150. That was for 2 years. There's still another year on the contract. This is to expand and to use this money to continue on with the Quebec consultants, but also to expand into Europe as well. So we support and priority.
Right, oh. Very high. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say given the circumstances, pretty high.
Okay. Or Abby, do you have a want to weigh in?
Yeah, I'm here. I agree. I think we should support it and it's a high priority.
Okay. High it is. Childcare funding. So it's not a request.
No.
It's cutting the general fund allocation by 19 million. Because in governor's budget, because we've taken in extra dollars on the payroll tax side by 19 million. So the way I look at it is that now is not the time to take our foot off the gas. We're still getting this up and running. I think it's so far been extremely beneficial for Vermonters and also beneficial for people that work in this area to be able to finally start earning a livable wage and begin to get benefits after they've gone through college and get what they deserve to be paid for what they're doing. To not just care for our kids, but educate them. And so I just think it's way too early to start swapping funds around at this point. I think at some point we may get there and it may be reducing the amount of the tax. But I think for us to reduce the general fund allocation is probably not a good policy, I view anyway. And others, like,
So I'll be the only detractor. The governor, I would support the governor's recommendation. But that's where I stand. Based on the information I had was we took money out of the general fund to fund it. And this is basically putting it back into the general fund. If
there's always been a general fund allocation.
Yeah.
And I just look at it as swapping out. And it's not time to delete these.
Yeah, my thought is not time right now. Yeah, I think it's very difficult to estimate caseloads in, the first year or maybe even the second year as a program, new programs ramping up. And the way I understand your concern, right, over the long term, but we'll have a couple of times to take a look at it again over the next year. There'll be there's a budget adjustment act, then it's the appropriations process. I just think in the first year and year and a half of the program, it's a little, I know they've got consensus forecasts, things like that. I think it's just really tough to try to estimate caseload in the first few years.
I don't support this. I think, as many of you have said, this is way too early. And anytime you go and cannibalize fund from one to another, that never goes back. And I do not want to put our businesses in a situation they've graciously agreed to pay for this 0.44 payroll tax. And I don't want to put them in a situation where they're going, now we have to go, oh, whoops, I guess we're gonna have to charge 0.66, and then it becomes 0.8, and then it becomes 1%, 2%. And I'm very concerned that that's gonna happen.
Just to make sure we're clear though, that it's a payroll tax, so 0.33 is paid by the employer, employee, 0.11 is paid by the employer. Unless, but the employer can decide to take it all on.
The other one.
Is it the other one?
Yeah.
The employees are 1.1?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually do that.
So, yeah, I think a lot of employers are paying the full boat of it because they find that it's an investment in economic development, and workforce development in the state. Anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah, sorry, can I speak real quick?
Sure.
Tabby. I also don't, I agree with Chair and a couple others who spoke that I think it's too early to be messing with the funding that was set up with Act 76.
Dave?
I just wanted to share that I recall testimony early on that they were actually planning a marketing strategy to be launched this spring to get it even more widespread. So I would assume the demand will go up. So
I think that's already started.
let's reject the governor's proposal and go with that in there.
Anybody else want to weigh in?
I will also state, which I stated before, we have a declining birth rate as well in the state of Vermont.
It might be the birth rate is declining, but we're trying to bring young people into the state. And I think they're more likely to come into a state that they can get good quality health, childcare for their children and be able to work. So I think it's a workforce for us. Anyway, when we took testimony on this a few years ago and this committee supported it, was a workforce development proposal that I think is starting to show that it's working. Good.
It just probably shouldn't. But you know, there's so many challenges facing young families around affordability issues. You know, you got housing, they had to pay their property tax. This is one area that really is a big one for young families that we've been able to do some good. There's so many challenges. This is just one that we're, actually having a good positive impact on.
I'm okay. I mean, I'll be
So
one, no.
We can do 10-1-0.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that.
Emily, you're a yes on this too?
Yes, I do agree that it is important to ensure that the program really makes sure that it has the proper legs. So we got to give it a little more time before we revert the funds.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what else?
The restaurant,
Yeah,
that's it. Otherwise, we're
Amy, did you want
If it's okay, Autumn would
to? Okay,
share
sure.
the information.
Well, you say it's fine. Just for the record.
Yeah, okay. My name is Autumn, Autumn Moen from Hunter Free Vermont, for the record. SNAP Restaurant Meals Program, I believe you might have heard a brief overview testimony from my colleague Heidi on Three Squares Awareness Day about this program, but this is a program that allows the state of Vermont to tailor the SNAP program or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as Three Squares Vermont in our state, allows us to tailor it to allow individuals who are in a household where everyone is over the age of 60, has a disability, or is experiencing homelessness. It would allow those folks to use their benefits to purchase meals at participating restaurants. So it really is to add this choice for folks who might have a hard time cooking at home, maybe some mobility challenges, or folks who don't have a safe place to store or prepare food if they're experiencing homelessness. They'd be able to get a hot meal at a restaurant, at a local restaurant in their community, We've heard from restaurants that they're very supportive of this as well and want to be able to serve their community in this way. So the funding allocation would be for a administrative cost. So it'd be for a staff position within DCF to administer the program, to oversee output the paperwork and that sort of thing. And I sent all of the specific pieces to the vice chair as well, so I don't have them pulled up in front of me. But one is for the staff position within DCF, it's 125,000 and change, but I can get you the exact numbers. There's also base funding for some credit card fees or the EBT card processing fees. That would be in base, but it's about 8,000 a year, so not too much there. And then there's one-time funding for another credit card fee or the point of sales processing fee that has to happen once in order to allow restaurants to accept the EBT cards, which is what people use for their benefits. But that's a one-time cost. And then we also are advocating for $75,000 to go to restaurants to help them if they need to get any additional point of sales or any outreach materials or things, so that that cost doesn't fall on restaurants. And I'm happy to answer any questions on that. I know that was quick.
Is there a certain menu that's provided, or do they order off the menu?
Yeah, so restaurants are required through this program to offer like a concession menu, it's called. And so the state employee who would have this position would also help restaurants look at that. So they can either, there's a few ways they can do it. They can either offer like a lunch special, that would be like $10 lunch program, or they could offer to just discount all of the items on the menu at all times, if that's how they want to opt into it. I don't know exactly all the different ways that they can do it off the top of my head, but I'm gonna follow up. There's a few different ways, and a few states operate this program as well, and they've kind of worked with restaurants to tailor this concession menu. But otherwise, they can order anything off the menu. It's just an option if they're offered. Things out of roller coaster.
Like the concession menu, this way we're not, my only concern is that we're gonna pay for McDonald's, right? Which is super unhealthy for us. Right? And that's it, but are they a participating? They are.
So the state is able to tailor the program however they want. So the states that operate it right now all do it in different ways. So in Massachusetts, they operate it where every participating restaurant is a food truck. And so that's how they operate it. They're all local food trucks. Other states operate it where a lot of the participating restaurants are Subway and other like sort of fast casual or fast food chains. And that's how they've chosen to do it. So the state can tailor the program however they want. And so there's some recommendations with hospital what if you want that has guidelines for how you could set up the requirements, but ultimately the state can tailor it how they choose to.
So may I continue? Is that okay? Because when first heard of it, but the way that you're explaining it, I mean, if we could tailor it so that it's local restaurants, and I know that, you know, Walmart or no, don't buy fast food from Walmart. No, just kidding. People buy it's good food. It's fine. Anyway. I know that like McDonald's is a, you know, a franchisee, you know, setup, but I think of, you know, places like Cornerstone, which they have healthy food, unless you don't want the healthy food, and they have that too. But can we recommend a more local establishment? Because I mean, you said Massachusetts only does food trucks.
May I answer that, Mr. Chair? Amy Schollenberger for the record, representing Hunger Free Vermont. So, first of all, there is a bill that has language like that, so that's where that would happen. I don't think that necessarily, I mean, obviously it's up to you, but it doesn't necessarily have to go into your budget memo. And if this is in the budget, it would likely be because the bill is moving in the end. The other thing I would just add is that Hunger Free does believe it's important to give people choices and the food that's right for them and what's right for their budget. And so they would not recommend prohibiting restaurants from joining the program, but the bill does prioritize local food, culturally acceptable food, or diverse food, making sure there's representation in all the counties of restaurants and stuff like that, so that would be DCF's job. Person's job to like do the outreach to sort of recruit restaurants like that. But one of the great benefits of the SNAP program is it does give people a choice in what is right for them. As far as what food they will pay for.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
So let me understand, this would be for people over 60, people who are homeless, and folks with disabilities, okay. So in this state, we're very concerned about people's dignity. And explain to me how you're going to verify that this person is homeless, this person is over 60, that kind of thing, without in a dignified way.
This actually would all happen through their Three Squares Vermont application, so through DCF. So through that application process, they do answer these questions to them, and so then they're able to tailor their card so that it would have like, I don't know how technology works, but it would definitely like, as they go to swipe their card, it would only accept it at a restaurant if they've been marked as a household where everyone's over 60, the household is experiencing homelessness, or everyone is disabled in that household. So it's all checked on the DCF side and is kept confidential there. And then the only way the restaurant person would know is because they'd be presenting a card that is the Three Squares Vermont card, the same way that they do it at the grocery store. I understand that.
And when this, hopefully with some of the great problems we're trying to solve here, these homeless people become not homeless, we find housing for them. How is that gonna work? Is there gonna be some sort of a scraping process, take them off, or are they gonna have to do it on their own volition, or what?
That's taken care of through DCF and through, they have all the folks that take care of applications and take care of the cards, the case managers. So that's all taken care of through those folks.
I support the concept. But I don't know what the bill is and what it's gonna be, and I have a hard time supporting giving my support to the money amount without knowing how it's all gonna work. And I think for myself, I'd rather not include this because I wanna know how, and if I like it, I'll support the bill and support the budget. But right now, for me to say, yes, this is commerce, or my vote anyway in commerce, is that I don't know. I don't have the information that I need to make a qualified yes or no. And I have some, just looking at, the other, the $8,100 jump change in the scheme of things. But restaurants are gonna make money on it. And those are business expenses. I own a business and I know how credit cards work. And so there are also businesses that out there, and I know restaurants that are using a processor that puts the fees back onto the consumer. And so they're not paying those fees, but we have money in here that's gonna help them pay for that.
So to clarify, those numbers are from DCF, those are costs for DCF for the coding of the.
So that's not for,
It's not for the restaurant.
okay,
The only thing that's in there for the restaurants is the one-time funding. Because the restaurants may have to purchase point of sale equipment or reprogram their equipment once in order to be able to accept the cards, but
then
it's not
again-
an ongoing.
yeah, but then again, if they want to accept it, they're making money.
Right, that's
Right.
fair, you may not
And
want to
so
support
why,
that.
yeah, so those are the types of things that we need to understand of what's in the bill before. So for me, I'm a no, and it's not because I don't like the concept. I think it's a great concept. the devil's in the detail, and we don't have the detail.
Fair enough. We would appreciate, even if you're willing to say you support the concept, and you want more details on the money.
I'm fine with that, I'm good to support the concept. As far as the amount of money,
Each one.
Michael?
Concept is very opaque. Just the term. I would feel more comfortable putting some guardrails on. I support. I can't get past that. No knock on McDonald's, but I think that, I see the economic advantage for local businesses. And again, it's franchise, I get it. But I would not feel overly excited about a concept without putting some sort of guardrail saying that, if as long as it's focused on our small restaurants. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm okay with the idea of saying support the concept. The bottom line, I think, is that unless the bill moves forward,
Right.
it probably isn't going to happen. And if the bill does move forward, we'll be able to see what the parameters are, I think, and then
Vote, yes.
and either support that bill or not. So that's why I'm okay with that sort of language about, I know it's a little ambiguous, but supporting the concept, because that means to me that ultimately we'll see a bill that we can decide what we want to do.
Can we say we're interested in seeing? It's okay.
We have a liaison to the Human Services Committee, so that may be something that.
This might be also going to ag.
Yeah,
It's Human Services now.
It's in human services now.
I think may take a look. I think doesn't SNAP runs through RAG, so.
SNAP runs through DCF, that's why it's in human services.
I think federally, doesn't it run through
It's in the farm bill.
Farm bill.
The program runs through the Department of Children.
Yeah. Everybody good with that? Just
Yeah, I love the
support the
concept.
concept, we hold our vote till we see the details.
Do you want that in the budget letter? Do you support the concept?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I strongly support the concept, but I think details certainly matter.
I agree with that as well.
How does that sound?
Support the budgetary request until language is proposed. Or something to that effect. Further.
Policy language? You can leave all the numbers in there, or just maybe the overall number?
I think it's fine to put that in, but that's all right.
Okay.
Anything else that,
Anybody wants to add?
and so committee vote on this, everybody support it, anybody not support it? 11-0.
And by the way, I put at the very top that if I don't write it down, it's unanimous. Because everything was it was very repetitive, so.
We had one vote that was not.
Yes, and I wrote that one down, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. I
see what I mean?
It's qualified unless otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just look at it one more time
Okay.
before we.
So you have the DHCD, these are in the governor's recommended, all these 300 for 2 limited service positions. It might be time to signify if you want a very high priority
No, that's all right.
as we go through these, if you want that.
I think it's more for Edie and I, when we go down to present this to appropriations, just want to make sure that we're accurate in committee's wishes.
9.1 for the Vermont Bond Bank, the Vermont Infrastructure Sustainability Fund. 15 million for the Vermont Housing Finance Agency Rental Revolving Loan Fund. 15 million for the Housing Finance Agency Middle Income Homeownership Development Program. Then we have the Department of Economic Development, 250,000 for the Vermont Professionals of Color Network. You support it. You also support an additional one-time appropriation for their business technical assistance request. 2 million for the Brownfields Revitalization Fund. You support that. You also support an additional one-time appropriation of 4 million, with 2 million of that allocated to RPCs for assessment grant funds. For those funds, however, you support that they'd be limited to $200,000 for each parcel for remediation. Shall not be limited, thank you. My eyes are crossing at this point. So continuing with the Department of Economic Development, 2 million to VITA to establish a disaster relief fund. You support it, and the policy language is found in H398, or will be found in H398.
Great. When you get to that 350 that's at the bottom.
Yeah.
We just move that up to ACCDs.
Department of Economic Development.
Even though it's not in the governor's. Is it in the governor's
It
recommendation?
isn't a governor.
It
They
is.
just didn't
They
ask.
never
they didn't-
separated.
Got it. Okay. Yes. So somewhere here.
Yeah.
All right. Did that one. Educational funding. 921,500 for dual enrollment programs. 2.4 million for the Vermont Virtual High School. 400,000 for secondary school reform grants you do not support or you do not have an opinion on this, as you are unfamiliar with the program. Is that an appropriate way to word that? You want me to just delete it?
It didn't even come up in any conversation. I don't think I
No, but they have it in their. They have it in their ask of us.
Yeah.
Right?
Appropriations.
Yeah, so that just tells them that this is
Okay.
something that we're not gonna weigh in on.
4.2 million for early college. 2.5 million for adult education and secondary credential program. 921,500. That number seems familiar. Yeah, it's up here too. So this one. 921 for dual enrollment. Of the appropriation, 921,500.
No, it's because they're two separate.
504.
One is coming out of the ed fund.
Okay.
One comes out of.
Got you. Thank you. All right. You support both.
I'll leave the general. Sorry. Actually, the ed fund over here.
VSAC. I believe all three of these, but let's double check that. 25,000 shall be deposited into the trust fund. Not more than 300,000 may be used by VSAC for a student aspirational initiative to serve one or more high schools. Not less than 1 million shall be used to continue the Vermont Trade Scholarship Program. You support this appropriation. This is not, these two things aren't appropriations. Do you want to say you support? And I think maybe I put it down here because you have opinions on these two things. Am I remembering this, that maybe you
I
didn't
think
want?
we didn't really have opinions on that. We only had opinion on 3.
Okay, so should I leave it as this is? Okay. Let's see, 41,000 of the ed fund and general fund is appropriated to VSAC for dual enrollment and need-based stipend purposes to fund a flat rate need-based stipend or voucher program for financially disadvantaged students enrolled in a dual enrollment course or an early college to be used for the purchase of books, cost of transportation, and payment of fees. You support the appropriation. Okay. Advanced.
I don't know that we talked about this yesterday, but.
We did talk about it. I think you weren't in the room when we talked about it.
Yeah,
There's just an
as long
awful
as
lot
every-
more words on there right now.
Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, it just helps those low income students be able to get the back end supports that they need in order to access dual enrollment.
Okay, Advance Vermont, request, this is now outside of the governor's recommended budget. The request is to make 350,000 funding permanent for My Future VT.
I
Support.
think this is two things, so we want to, number one, we are asking them to appropriate 350,000. And that we would like to see this put into base funding. Right?
Yep.
Is My Future VT Advance Vermont, or is it a part of Advance Vermont?
It's the program that Advanced Vermont created.
Right. Does that make sense? All right. PSAC request is to 3.6% increase to base funding to in order to. Not sure if that's the right way to word that. Increase 802 opportunity support.
No, it's actually increasing the program.
Is that right?
It is.
Okay, I was right.
That's increasing the base funding.
It's expanding the eligibility
There you
Right,
go.
yeah.
to,
Okay, I like that better. Is that okay? Okay.
support expanding the eligibility.
Some of us don't.
No, but that was the point. That was the statement. It was.
Right, yeah,
That's their request.
That's what the request, that's why there's a 3.6% increase in base.
And then you support it, but you have concerns about increasing the maximum household income for eligibility due to future funding of the McClure free degree program. Promise. Make sure that's correct.
Do we have a figure that we want to suggest to the teacher loan forgiveness program, mental health professional loan forgiveness?
Mental health was about 1 million, the other was about 5. These were,
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's,
We should put.
Last year's budget, is that what you're looking?
no, it was
it was a Patrick Leduc,
I think it was from Scott, wasn't it?
Scott Giles.
Yes, ma'am.
SAC is requesting 3.9 million in new funds for the Vermont Teacher Forgivable Loan Program and 1 million for continuation of the Vermont Mental Health Council.
Thank you.
3.9 and 1.
3.9 for teacher loan, 1 for,
I think maybe you say the committee supports.
I presume you'll clean this up.
This is what you're looking at. I'm not joking. As I talked.
I asked.
Yeah. This committee supports,
Forgivable loan.
Sense to say both and put it at 4.9.
We want to separate them out.
what's the amount for the,
1 million.
1 million?
For the Vermont Mental Health Counselor Forgivable Loan.
adult professional.
That means the word professional.
Professional instead of,
Professional.
professional instead of counselor.
Yeah.
On the BSAC. It's okay.
Yeah, it's written differently.
But it's on.
Yeah,
Do you want to keep this concern language that,
Yes.
okay,
Okay. Is everybody in agreement on this? These two? Priority high? Okay, 11-0, priority high.
on these two,
Yes.
on all of them, or including the 3.6% increase?
Well, that's in the budget, so, I mean, we support it and we'll have that conversation with appropriations. And we'll make a suggestion that they might take the 3.6% and use it as part of the 3.9 million.
So before you go off of that, the request isn't the 3.6%, the 3.6% is in the budget.
Proposal.
Right.
Thank you.
But the money, the additional money for the teacher forgivable loan and the mental health professional forgivable loan is not in the budget.
Right, yeah.
That's the request.
Me, okay.
Yeah, maybe it says this committee requests support, requests a $3.9 million appropriation.
Additional appropriation.
Yeah.
Appropriation for the fiscal year 6, whatever it is.
Maybe put out there, maybe, yeah.
What was that?
Inappropriate FY of after FY 26.
I made all this not line up nicely.
Doing great.
Oh.
Hard to do this with people.
No, that's just Microsoft Word is my,
Someone who loves Control C and V as much as I do.
well.
I'm doing reluctant.
In this job. So there's three things here. There's the proposal for the 3% increase. You support that, but you have concerns. You have separate concerns about the teacher loan forgiveness and the mental health professional loan forgiveness. You support additional appropriations of those two. And then there's a request, or is it a proposal for the 5.2 million to create the Freedom and Unity Scholarship?
Yes, but we want, again, I think the thought is that we want to support what we've already created and continue to go. So there's additional funds that can support a new program to be stood up and we support. We can, that doesn't need to be in.
Okay, this is VCAP, Vermont Community Action Partnership. So it's 1.65 million in base funding to the MV, I don't know all these acronyms here, but
For business lending program.
there you go. You support the request and it's a high priority. Okay. The Small Business Technical Assistance Exchange, they're seeking 1.25 million. You support it and it's a high priority. The Vermont Housing Conservation Board, governor's recommended budget has it funded at 36.9 million. VHCB would like the full statutory share. That's the notwithstanding language. You support the request and at the full share if feasible. The Association of Planning and Development Agencies, the request is 7.7 million in RPC funding as proposed in the governor's recommended budget, which includes a 3% increase in our funding consistent with state agencies. So this is a proposal then, correct?
Yes. So the next one's a proposal as well. That's in the governor's budget.
See my work.
Hold on,
Can I
man.
vote on that one? No, I didn't vote on that one.
Which one? So both these are high priority, yeah. Serve, learn, and earn. The request is to increase the 500,000 in the base budget to make it 2.5 million. That's worded weirdly, but I think currently, yes, that makes sense. As it gets later, things are gonna make less sense to me personally. This, you support a 1.5 million appropriation with an increase if funds are available. And then make sure that second bullet point is what you want.
Apprenticeship.
That's new.
What?
Did that when I was.
Edie took the reins.
Yeah, you were.
You left and her eyes got wide. She just-
What I would say is not integrating the program, but I would say that the new executive director work with, I think what we'd like to see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we have four different nonprofits under this umbrella. Is there an opportunity to expand that even more? No.
I think that's part of it. I think part of it is, you know, are we using our apprenticeship programs or tech programs or, you know, all of these things in a way that all students across the state have, or and adults, right, have full access to these programs, and how do we make it into not just this?
Well, so
But-
these
but
these
yes,
programs
you're
here are mainly to assist young adults that are,
Yeah,
that are
14 to 24.
that are disadvantaged. So to try to lump them and everybody into that is probably not, because they're getting funds from other sources also for the same thing.
It's how do we make sure that the Office of Workforce and Strategy and Development is fully aware of this program, and how do we best leverage it for the state?
Yeah, I think that's not, I
So
don't
it's
think,
not-
I don't think it belongs here.
Okay,
I think it's something that you need to talk with Sabina about.
okay.
And I think that's what actually she's doing right now, is trying to figure all this out.
You can delete that bullet point.
So the way that I understood it was that we were putting our desire to, for lack of a better term, consolidate them. Because each one of them have, it's four different programs, kind of the same thing. And that's the way that I
Oh,
understood
yeah.
it.
No, it's not. They have created a new program that uses these four nonprofits to offer different opportunities to people across the state. So it is one program.
Okay.
So
It's one program with four different entities doing different things. They're all workforce, but they're doing it in different ways.
Okay. Then we have the 3-degree promise, the nuclear foundation. The request is ongoing general fund appropriation. And the committee response is it's unable to support the request. It's unclear who or what will fund this program in 2 years. The committee needs more information on the future of the program before providing support.
We're supposed to get the bill in here at some point. 397. I don't know that we should even put this in here at this point until we have an opportunity to bill and understand better what it's asking for.
I mean, it's 250 in this budget year, so. It's.
Well, that's what they're
the question is-
requesting,
Yeah, the
but-
question is ongoing, what is it?
Well, maybe let's. I think what we probably would say is. The request is 250. And. I would say. Committee has not had the opportunity at this point to. To
It's 250 only for this year.
Yeah.
Ongoing is way more.
Okay.
ongoing.
Would you want to include that as part of the request though?
Just the request, 250,000.
One time?
And I think. Like. um, Like the discussion we had with the restaurant meals program. We haven't had time to. Vet the draft yet, and we don't even have possession of it right now. So there's. I think we need to better There you go, perfect.
Just stop it at policy.
Okay,
authority,
yeah.
Yeah.
He said perfect. I haven't gotten that. Oh, wow, okay. Vermont Arts Council
Mhm.
increase of 68,737 in fiscal year 26 to what is in the governor's recommended budget, which is 1.003 million to match the federal grant.
And I know they know this, but it's to. For a one-to-one match.
Draw down full federal
Yeah.
fund available.
Yeah.
It might be less, right? I mean, are they always on the ball?
Well, they're pretty close usually. So, and that gets chewed up usually in the Senate. Um, And I think we say in order to draw down the full amount of federal funding.
And they have a one-time request for 120,000 for the database creation and to fund a part-time staff position.
Okay. And so everybody supported that, and what priority do you want to put that in?
Oh, great.
Great film.
Okay, Working Lands Coalition.
What's the priority on that request?
Everyone's about that.
Hmm?
I,
I would say it's a high priority.
I mean, it's not a lot of money to do a lot of good.
I agree with it. I think it's a high priority.
You're gonna say this is a high committee. Okay. Vote on the Arts Council, is that 11-0?
Yes, for me.
Emily,
Yes, for me as well.
and was. Monique. When you talked about this yesterday, was
We
she-
all supported.
Yeah,
it.
everybody's-
Because just,
all right. We can put that as 11-0 on two. Arts Council requests. Right? And Working Lands. It's,
It's
Fund available.
And
it's
2 million
one,
is if it's available.
okay, so the governor's budget proposal is 1 million?
Yep.
Okay, so we should say that.
$1 million.
And committee supports this request. High priority, I'm assuming. If I assumed, right?
You have assumed, right? Everybody was there.
What, clarification, are they wanting 3 million?
Yes,
Okay.
you wrote it to say exactly what it was supposed to.
Yeah, that. Don't always check that. So you were, okay,
So on the, yeah, on the million, committee supports. High priority, 11-0. And then,
Just like
and that was 11-0 on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, and it's two. Downtown tax credits. Okay. UVM Tech Hub. We, international
about-
business, we talked about the rest of it, right?
Yep.
Everything looked good?
The tech hub in the proposal? Or in the budget?
No.
Okay.
I think what we heard from UVM yesterday was that
Oh,
they do support it if the legislature finds the money. Okay. All right. We all good?
Happy.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Rick, if you shoot that to.
I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you.
okay. You send that off to Robin, copy, your committee assistant.
it should probably come from Anna Grace.
Okay.
I'll send it to Anna Grace and typically, and then you'll send it.
Send it to Robin, to their committee assistant. Yes, copy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
go down, the other might keep it. Yeah, and just copy Edie and all. Okay, committee, thank you. Good work. Appreciate all your efforts and the discussion has been good. Tomorrow morning, 8:45. And we'll come back to Vita. What we have after that.
Just.
Yes.
Get that one out.
We'll try to get
See you
that.
tomorrow.
Okay. Take care, Abby. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, see you tomorrow.
1:37.
1:37.
We'll get that out of committee tomorrow afternoon.
Morning, afternoon.
Both.
Do we have them both in the?
No, H137 is at 1. That's the only thing on our agenda for tomorrow afternoon.
Afternoon.
Okay, what else is in the
So
morning?
we have a little bit
Just-
more testimony on the Vita
Yeah,
bill.
but that won't be long and.
We have,
And,
we have.
yes.